What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, right? Yes, it is Wednesday, and we are here talking about the secrets of all the invasions going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What is up? What is up? How we doing, everyone? Let me turn this music off right quick. There we go. And don't mind if you guys hear any rumbling and tumbling. There is a storm brewing outside. So if my power cuts off, the aliens got me. I'll just say that. But what's going on, everyone? Welcome to tonight's after show for Secret Invasion. We did this last week with my homie Chris. There may or may not be any guests, but if not, we got the community, we got the chat here that I interact with, which is always a good time. So we are here to break it down, y'all. This is episode 4, as you all can see below me, for Secret Invasion. Beloved. And listen, man, this show isn't getting the love that I think it deserves right now, ladies and gentlemen. I have really been enjoying this show so far. It's not my favorite of all the MCU shows, not my low keys and WandaVisions and what have you, but it's a solid show, man. And I feel like we're in a weird spot right now where people are just not giving it a chance. I've seen some of my friends online saying it's boring and that and the other, but hey, it's all good, man. I enjoyed it, and I hope you all enjoyed it because we're going to talk about it tonight. Again, full spoilers, breaking it all down for this 4th episode of the Secret Invasion show, which means we only got 2 episodes left, man. This show has been flying by. But before we get into tonight's spoiler discussion, again, I want to thank y'all, man. It's a Wednesday. We got Mission Impossible in theaters. We got some other great content creators on the platform that's doing their thing. So the fact that you all are joining me, I really appreciate it, man. And if you guys enjoy the content, enjoy the conversation, enjoy the show, make sure you all consider hitting the like button. Consider sharing the stream to anyone and everyone you know that's talking about the show. Because again, there's not a lot of people, man, that's on this bandwagon that I've been on these last 4 weeks with this really solid show. But consider sharing. And more importantly, since we're live, I do these to interact with you all. So I'm going to do my best with it just being me here tonight to try to read you guys' comments, your thoughts, concerns, theories, and everything in between. So we're going to have a good time tonight, y'all. So definitely leave the comments in the chat when we get to all the good stuff in tonight's episode. So with all that being said, man, we got my man CGZ saying cheers. Well, cheers to you. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. Zia, how we doing? I hope you are doing well. The homie Caitlin, how we doing? I know it's like 4:00 in the morning where you are, Caitlin. So I appreciate you stopping by, showing some love. Speaking of love, Rims with the hearts in the chat. How we doing, Rims? Always good to see your name in the chat. What does Zia say? This is a really good episode. We called, it was, listen, there's a lot of things that, we're not breaking the internet, right? But it was a lot of us that felt like last week's episode, Gaia not dead. We'll talk about that. Rhodey was on the phone. He's a scroll, or I should say, she's a scroll. We'll talk about that. So there was a lot of predictions that came true, but I'm still there's still a lot of stuff, a lot of mystery that we'll talk about tonight that the show has to offer. But shout out to Zia. My man Kevin, what's up, man? This show is definitely growing on me. It's growing on me, Kevin. It's on my skin. I'm rocking the green tonight for my scroll fans out there. Now I've really been, again, and we'll talk about it when we break it down. I've been thoroughly enjoying just the groundedness, and we'll talk about it in tonight's episode. The conversations, the acting from these great actors, including my man, Sam Jackson, but also Don Cheadle, man. God damn, he's been in the MCU since Iron Man 2. Was that 2009, 2010, 23 years. This is the most personality he's ever had in the MCU. And even though it's not him, it's she, it's a scroll, it's still good to see Don Cheadle be able to flex his acting sensibilities and play, a little snaky scroll that we'll get into. So I've definitely been enjoying this so far. But again, we'll break it all down. CGZ saying, Secret Invasion is my favorite Marvel Studios project. Now, CGZ, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you saying Marvel studio projects like TV shows? Or are we talking movies like over Endgame, Infinity War, Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home? Are we just talking about TV shows? Let me know. Give me some clarification, CGZ. What Kaylee's saying, yes, it is. I was close. 3 a.m. I slept a bit and set the. Oh, man, you didn't have to do all that. That's dope, Kayla. I really appreciate you setting the alarm, getting ready. That puts a big old smile on my face. I appreciate you. I'm loving the show. It's top 5 for me. The conversations and the personal interactions are doing it for me. Yeah, same here with me, Caitlin. Like, yes, I love me some action, of course, but I really, if you guys know me, I'm a fan of good, strong dialogue, but also a big fan of acting, and it's giving me both of those. And we'll talk about it tonight. The conversation between Vera, Priscilla, and Nick Fury, it's up there with me as far as at least keeping it within the show's context. It reminded me, and we'll get to it when we break it down, the scene with Wanda and Vision in episode 8 when they're talking on the bed and talking about grieving and all that. Man, your boy got it. I was feeling it. I was feeling it right here, man, and I love it. I love it. So with all that being said, man, again, we're gonna break it all down. Full spoilers ahead on this 4th episode, which was titled "Beloved," where we get to see the continuations of Gravik plans trying to set off this World War III between America and Russia. We also get the reveal of what happened to Gaia last week. We also get another death potentially that we'll talk about at the end. We get the reveal who Rhodey really is, who she really is, and there's so much good acting and development that we get in this episode, all within 35, 36 minutes. It was the shortest episode of the season so far, but it packed a heavy punch. Now, listen, don't get it twisted. This wasn't a perfect episode. There were some little nitpicks that we'll talk about tonight. There were just some things that did kind of bother me, narratively speaking, that we'll get into. And then also there's a big MCU conversation I want to have that's definitely bothering me with the format of certain shows, this one being one of them. So we'll get into some negatives and some criticisms because, again, life isn't perfect. Neither are these shows that we consume and we love. And we'll get into all that good stuff there. Zia saying, yes. Are you referring to as far as the conversation, the dialogue, and the acting and all that? Well, yes, I agree. It has been fire, if that's what you're referring to. Caitlin, what is grief, if not love? Yeah, we will get to that, Caitlin, because, again, that has been that conversation amongst those characters. One of my favorite amongst the love interests that we have in the MCU, and tonight, or let's just say today, that conversation with Priscilla and Fury. Again, we just met her a couple weeks ago. We just found out that he officially has a wife a couple weeks ago. So the fact that I felt that emotion, I felt that love that they've had for 30 years is a testament to the writing and the acting that I will definitely be shining the light on when we get to that point in the episode. I was surprised by the short. Yeah, it was very short, right? It was like I said, 34, 35 minutes or whatnot, not including credits. But it felt, we'll get to it as my dog is making a mess over there, getting himself into trouble. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this damn thing again. Give me a second. Guys, again, if you know me, you know I got a dog, and he always, every time I press record, right? And shout out to the dog owners, cat owners, snake owners, rabbit owners, pet owners in general. Is it just me, especially I'm talking to my dog owners right now, is it just me, or whenever, if you guys do Zoom calls, live streams, phone call with the mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever the case may be, they just always act up. Oh, they're cool, calm, collective, chilling. And as soon as you hit record, they're just like, freaking out. And that's my Thor, man. He's always just on one. But anyway, again, full spoilers in tonight's episode. Let's get into the damn thing. So again, we talked about it last week. And again, it wasn't a groundbreaking theory that she wasn't dead. And I'm referring to Gia again, or Gaia. Last week, we ended the episode with Gravik finding out she's the mole. He was setting up the whole thing to find out who it was, and it was her. He shoots her. And like I said last week, the fact that I know some people online were very like, they just killed her. They just removed Emilia Clarke from the show. I'm like, guys, just think about it. Not only from a trailer perspective, as I pointed out last week, there's a lot more scenes that we haven't seen her in yet, but you don't bring in Emilia Clarke to just be in 3 episodes, right? So lo and behold, she's alive. It is revealed that she did inject herself with the Super Scroll serum. She is alive. She is fresh, rejuvenated. She has the powers of, when it comes to these powers, these abilities that they can take on. What is it everything that Gravik has? It is everything that we saw on the computer a couple weeks ago. Does she have the Groot abilities? We know she has Extremis. Does she have the strength of Cole, I can't think of the guy's name from Infinity War right now, Cole Obsidian? Does she have the abilities of the Frost Giant? That is what I want to know. Like, what is it that she has in her system besides the extremis virus? So very, very curious on what her powers are going to be. And also the screen grab that I have on the screen now, that is the doctor. That's Dr. Dalton, who we met in episode 2. So we know that she is also being held in this mind hive, which, by the way, I'm still curious, man. Who's that black dude? Who is that black dude behind Gaia there? Is it Rogues? Is it someone else? Is it Captain America, Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson, or is it someone else entirely? But again, she takes the memories of Dr. Dalton, and so smart on her. Again, Gaia, I talked about last week, so smart, so intelligent. She thinks on her feet much better than her father. We'll talk about him later. But she takes it, and there's something in my mouth here. She takes it there, reads the memories, and she's able to understand, okay, I got to do this, got to do that. That's how I get the extremis. I got to turn the machine. But also, think about this. Her digging into the doctor memories, that means she probably knows, if it comes to it, how to destroy the machine, how the weaknesses of the serum of the Super Scroll. She probably knows more about the whole situation at hand, more so than Gravik, right? Because Dr. Dalton has all the memories. She has all the information in the head. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gaia understands how to take down a Super Scroll, how to take down this machine, and things of that nature. So that is something to look forward to in the coming weeks, all the memories and everything that she's obtained for Dr. Dalton in the weeks ahead. But she gets the virus, injects into her. She's alive. And again, I think most of us knew that was going to be revealed, that she was going to be alive. I didn't know it was going to. I would love that they just addressed it right off the bat, that we didn't have to linger it for a half an episode or a whole episode. Like, is she alive? Is she dead? They addressed it right off the top, which I really did appreciate. And again, this again speaks to the pacing. 37 minutes. We got to get our stuff in and, establish certain things, because the rest of the episode, while we get these big kind of reveals, and we'll get to the stuff I really enjoyed about, more of the action beats a little bit later in the episode. But MVPs, without a shadow of a doubt, is every time these two were on screen, and I'm referring to Priscilla, who we find out her identity is in this episode, and our boy Nick Fury. Whenever they were on screen together in this episode, it was just the most compelling stuff of this episode, and really some of the most compelling stuff that we've gotten in the MCU in a very long time, as far as just like relationships, right? We don't have that many like serious relationships in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, we know Cap, Peggy, Iron Man, Tony, Pepper, MJ, and Spider-Man, and Peter and Gamora. We got a little bit of T'Challa and Nakia, but it's really not like the most like we don't really see them having these type of moments. I'm referring to like the couples in the MCU. So just seeing them on like we want to call it a date night in Paris. It's 2012. And shout out to Nick Fury, man. Like, this man, the swagger, the confidence of this dude. Listen, guys, this dude literally just jumped off the plane fighting aliens. He just got done with an Avengers, Jatari, and saving the world and dealing with the console, trying to take down New York City. My man just did all that and still has time to hang out with his boo thing. I mean, the guy is just, he can do it all, y'all. And also, speaking of doing it all, I love how this show has handled the de-aging technology. Take notes, Disney, when it comes to your other projects, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, etc., and also studios out there. This de-aging is so perfect. Number one, black don't crack, but also they just capture it so well. They do such a good job of making us feel like they're younger, and they play it as well as far as the actors go. But the Avengers have been assembled, and Priscilla is having her conversation. She's talking about the poems, which we'll talk about towards the end of the episode, because it obviously ties into this conversation at hand. But the understanding of this scene here is just really appreciating the love that she has for Nick Fury. This isn't your average, human being. This is an alien. I don't know how old she is. You would imagine she's come across many different species, of course, her own species with the scrolls. She's probably come across her fair share of Kree, so on and so forth. But she is so in love with this man, and that conversation, she just wants to be beloved. She wants to find love, and she wants to find it on Earth with our Nick Fury. I got to tell y'all, man, I'm just like so enamored and just so engaged with this relationship. And it's something that I hope moves on past this series. And hopefully we get more of her because I just love their love, right? Black love, if I'm being honest with you. Again, we don't get that much representation of Black love in the MCU. So it's just great to see. And the acting is just phenomenal. And again, just like Talos and Nick Fury, obviously we saw their introduction in Captain Marvel, and we didn't see a ton of their friendship, but we understood that it developed over 30 years. And the acting between Ben Mendelsohn and Sam Jackson is able to convey that relationship within that 30-year span, which I appreciate. And the same thing can be said about these two. You can see the love. You can see how much she just is in awe of Fury. And the same goes with Nick Fury. He's in awe of her as well. So again, we're going to talk about another scene a little bit later, but I just really, really enjoy this relationship, the conversation, the love. You can feel it. And it's just great, man. It's really, really great, which makes what happens a little bit later just as heartbreaking. But listen, speaking of heartbreaking, Heartbreak Kid is not here to play any games. I'm referring to Rhodey, or should we call her Roshanda, Roisha? Like, what do we call this this scroll that is impersonating Rhodes this whole time? Or I guess that's a question. Before we break down the scene here, question from my live audience and those watching the replay: based on this episode, this Rhodey Roshanda is spicy, right? Like, she is like all about, like, she getting in people's faces, talking about DDT, Undertaker, all this stuff. She was hot. She was hot in this episode. She was on one, right? We ain't never seen Rhodey ever talk like that, right? Like ever in the MCU. So I'm just thinking of all the previous times we've seen Rhodey on screen. It makes me wonder, when did the switch happen? Was it Endgame, Civil War, Infinity War? Because Rhodey was on Earth after the blip. Was it during that time? Was it all the way back in Iron Man 2? Like, I'm just so curious because, again, the sauce coming from Roshanda was crazy. So, I can't think of Rhodey being that saucy, y'all. So I'm thinking it's more new. I'm thinking it's something more current within the MCU timeline, which I would assume will be addressed, if not this series, then most likely in his movie, the Armored Wars. And also, I believe he's a part of the Riri Williams show, the Ironheart show. So we might get some revelations of what happened to Rhodey, where he's been, and on all that good stuff. But again, let me know in the comments, how long has Roshanda been Roshanda? But anyway, the scene is great. We see present day. Priscilla meets with Rhodes from the phone call that we got last week. And I'm going to keep calling Roshanda. Rhodey Roshanda. Roshanda gives her the orders to kill Fury. This isn't from Gravik. This isn't from his second in command. This is from Roshanda herself, which makes me wonder, what is the pyramid? Who's really in command? Because if this Rhodey scroll is able to give field commands to take out someone as high ranking as Fury, it makes you wonder how the power dynamic is between Gravik and Roshanda, so on and so forth. Or is that where things are going to crumble? Is that where it's going to break down from the inside, that this particular scroll is over making moves without Gravik's approval, what have you, and that might divide them from within. So very, very interesting stuff. And you can also, within that scene too, without moving past it and again into the comments here in a second, you notice that Priscilla was not like gun-ho, super on board with killing Fury. She's just like, hey, maybe we don't have to kill him. He's already old. He's moving slow, talking slow. One more, defeat, one more person he loses, he's just going to call it quits. And she's trying to make that, convince Roshanda to not kill her husband, the love of her life, but he's like, nah, you're gonna do what I say, and if not, you're gonna see what I'm capable of. So again, very great scene, and again, that spicy Rashonda is something else. But before we move on to seeing Gravik's plan take in motion, let me check in with the comments to see how y'all feeling about everything we got so far and everything that's going on in the episode. Let's see where I leave off at. Bad Coyote, it's been a minute. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Let's see what you got here. They know they're giving someone else attention. That's why I don't watch. Oh yeah, I mean it's so hard, Caitlin. It's so hard. I'm almost a component, especially with Marvel projects now, because they're so big and we're all so attached to it behind the scenes, Deadpool leaks, all that stuff. They should just do trailers now where it's just like the actors talking about the show and having like behind the scenes clips versus like actual footage. Because yes, the trailer gave away a lot of stuff with this show so far. One being obviously Gaia and all that stuff. If she fights the main guy 1v1, are you talking about Gaia fighting? I mean, that's what it's probably heading towards. This, oh, I think this is from your comment earlier about being your favorite project. The project has my favorite genre, which I would assume is like spy, espionage, groundedness. The cast and crew are a quality of the MCU desperately needed since the last phase. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. You know, I love, listen, my favorite two genres is science fiction and horror. And to the science fiction of it all and to the MC of it all, I love when we go galactic and we have, you know, all the stuff with the Guardians, Captain Marvel, multiversal conversations. That stuff really gets me excited. But I also love great, grounded, relatable stories, relatable characters. So yeah, I definitely agree where you're coming from as far as like this just hitting those marks of things that we don't really see too often in MC, at least in the most recent phases. What's up, Justin? How we doing today, man? Justin saying pet peeve of mine is the fake out death in the opening scene. Really annoyed me. Yeah, you know, fake out deaths are hard, right? Especially with a weekly show when we all kind of theorized that she was going to be back. I still don't think it takes away from the scene though, Justin, because I mentioned it last week, and I knew she was going to come back. It still doesn't take away the fact of what Gravik did, right? Obviously she's back, you know, Gaia, but it doesn't take away the fact that he is willing to do whatever. And if you come across him, he doesn't care. With this example, Gaia and him, they grew up together. He'd been knowing this girl since they were kids, since he was 8 years old. The fact that he's able to just to cold-heartedly kill her in cold blood speaks a lot to his character. So it doesn't take anything away from me knowing that he is willing to do whatever it takes if you get in front of him. And then again, I knew she wasn't going to die, but I completely understand where you're coming from. And if, you know, we got Maria Hill, we'll talk about Talos at the end of this episode. You've played your card once with the fake out death. That means Maria Hill has to stay dead. And that means that Talos has to stay dead, because if you give us another character who's still alive, it's just like, oh my goodness, guys, like how many times you're going to play that card? So as far as it goes for me, I understand where you're coming from, the pet peeve of it all, but as long as they don't do any more of it, I'm okay with it. The chemistry was on point, definitely connected. Oh yeah, talking about Priscilla and Sam Jackson for sure. Props to Sam. Oh yeah, he's really giving it. I mean, because Sam Jackson, he never to me mails in a performance unless, what was that movie, Spirit? You guys ever see Spirit? It was like a graphic novel. Scarlett Johansson was in it. It's kind of like what was that one thing with Robert Rodriguez, Sin City type of look to it. You can tell that he was just there to get a check. And there's a couple other roles that you can look at Mr. Jackson and you say, hey, it's not everyone's, not everyone's good day. Sometimes they're in for the money. But anyway, the only problem I'm having is going on with Rhodes, but I still wait until the end of the series to see how it plays out. Yeah, and who's to say that we won't even get it revealed in this series, right? It might carry over to Riri Williams' show with Ironheart. It might carry over to his movie with Armored Wars. It might carry over to Captain Marvel too. So there isn't a guarantee that we're going to get all the answers as far as how long Rashana has been Rhodes and where Rhodey really is. But at least, we know that is a conversation to be had in future episodes and potentially future other projects. That was my favorite part. Yeah, as far as that relationship, 100% agree with you. Let's see, my man Justin. I know I'm in the minority in this. The show is really getting on exposition dump. Wish they would be. I hear you, Justin. Definitely a lot of exposition. But to me, it's purposeful exposition to go within what's going on at hand, right? And not, to me, there's no waste of space in this series. There's no no like unnecessary conversations going on. It's all pivotal to what's going on with the Skrulls, with who's taking over, so on and so forth. And I appreciate it, man. But again, I can understand where you're coming from, that some scenes do maybe seem like they might drag on or might open up doors and just seem like they're just talking heads. But I've honestly, I've really enjoyed it, and that's due to, you know, a lot of these performances we've gotten so far. It was genuine. They look together. Yeah, that love is great. Yeah, like yeah, let's get it on a t-shirt. Rashonda is the Squirrel of the Year. I was shocked to see it was right, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in a second. Let's see. Okay, so we got some theories going on as far as when you all think Rhodey was taken out after Falcon and Winter Soldier. I forgot about that appearance because it was one or two episodes. It was one episode that I know that Rhodey talked to Sam. I'm gonna have to rewatch that, Caitlin, just kind of get the vibes and see if that Rhodey was as spicy as tonight's Rhodey. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and see what that personality and kind of the swagger and the persona and how that particular Rhodey was portrayed, to see if it was like I said, Roshana was on one tonight, y'all, and I was here for it because again, I love Don Cheadle as an actor, and I don't feel as though they've given him the opportunity to really kind of flex his acting sensibilities, and I thought we got a lot of that in tonight's episode. But speaking of getting back to the breakdown and getting a lot of just like, man, I feel you, Nick. You like, God damn it, woman. I can't trust anyone, let alone my wife of 30 years, y'all. So Nick Fury, and this goes back to last week when I was talking to my homie Chris, who joined me. You know, the question I posed to him was, if you're Nick Fury, do you pick up the phone? Do you look at the call list? Do you look at the text messages? And I think I had briefly mentioned before we moved on to the next topic last week that I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Fury somehow put a bug or put something on the phone. Lo and behold, that, again, smart move on Fury. He did bug the phone. He kept tabs on his wife's phone. And then this is the conversation at hand. And like I said, I feel you right now, Nick. He's just like, man, I can't trust anyone, y'all. So I definitely felt him that he just, he took an L. He took an L, man. And, we're going to get to him having that conversation with his soon-to-be ex-wife, I would assume, after tonight's episode. But as we move on, we cut to, again, Gravik's plan. He's getting on the plane. He's talking to his second in command about, Gaia's the mole, and he's getting his new plan into motion. And my only thing that is still bugging me, Kingsley Benadir is a rock star. He's been killing it in the show so far. And I love the more like personal stuff has been connected to me, but this whole global World War III taking over, we're killing the humans, that still hasn't been illustrated to me. I still haven't fully grasped. Like, I get he's upset. He wants Nick Fury not betrayed him, but lied to an extent, didn't find him a home. But is that enough to anger someone to wipe out all of humanity? Right? One person did you wrong. You're gonna kill them all. I still don't think the show has really, for me at least, has given me the exact reason on why Gravik is just willing to wipe out humanity based on them finding a home. Right? So I hope we get that moment. There's something that had to happen to him as a kid. There's something else that Fury had to did, or another human had to do to him to make him have that hatred to go to this catastrophic level of wiping out humanity. I still haven't fully grasped that from the character yet, but we see that their sights are on the president, and obviously we'll get to that in a little bit here. But we do get and I guess it's safe to say this is the last time that we're going to see these characters interacting, if we are to assume that, as we'll talk about, that Talos is no longer, alive, which we'll get into. But the conversation at hand between daughter and father, and this is the first time they've actually had like an actual sit down, because everything else has been kind of on phone and been via text and, coded. But this is a conversation that shout out to Talos, man. The man has been brainwashed, or Stockholm syndrome or something. Need I remind y'all, when we first met not Gravik, but Talos and Captain Marvel, this was a general. He was the general, the leader of all the Skrulls, had a plan, stuck to the plan. Eventually, we know he turned to a good guy, yada, yada, yada. What I'm getting at is the man has had a history of being in control, which means you have to make tough decisions, rash decisions, good decisions for you and your people. I don't know what Talos was smoking when he tells his daughter his idea, which is, listen, she's like, Gravik has a plan. It's a really good plan. Might be terrible, but at least it's a plan that's in motion. What's your plans, Dad? I'm with you. What's the plan, Dad? This man tells his daughter, looks her in the eye. Shout out to Amelia Clark, Mother of Dragons. He looks her in the eye and says, you know what? The plan, honey, is we're going to go ahead and, save the world, take out Gravik, his whole plan. We're going to go ahead and do that. No problem. Easy. It's another Tuesday. We're going to take him out. And then, sweetheart, we're going to go to the president, right? We're going to go to his front door, full access to the White House. No issues there. We're going to go to the president and then tell the president, hey, you see what we did? We saved the world. So with that being said, can you hook a brother up type of conversation? Talos, that has to be the dumbest idea I've ever heard. That has to be so stupid and so crazy. I think the Talos is a scroll, because that is the most dumbest idea, that you think after this scroll has tried to take over the world, that now the president's going to be like, well, I can distinguish the good scrolls. No, all of them are bad, right? So especially, and again, take into consideration, this is the Marvel Cinematic 616 universe. Jatari, Age of Ultron, we got freaking multiversal situations that's going to be breaking out. We had freaking Thanos, the blip. This world has seen a lot. Their leeway, their runway of allowing people to just, okay, we'll just be kumbaya, that is worn down. Talos, my man, got a better idea than that. That was just terrible. So much so, guys, like, you are delusional, Pops. Deuces. I'm out of here. Before we move on, though, I do have a question. Did she tell Talos that she took the extremist, she took the Super Skrull serum, and she has the abilities of a Super Skrull? Did she tell him that? Because that's pretty vital information that I would think that she would tell her father. Or does she keep that close to the vest? Now, we know in order to become a Super Skrull, you have to take the serum based on what she did in this episode. You got to take the serum, then you got to go in the machine. I wonder if you don't do the full step of going to the machine, if you still have some type of effects after taking the serum. Reason I'm bringing that up is, and if we talked about the fake out death, what if she gave her, and again, we don't see the whole, we only cut into that scene. We don't know what the conversation was had before that, and we don't know when he picked her up. I don't even know if they ever addressed, and let me know in the chat, did she tell her what happened to her? Like, she got shot and grabbed her. She just say, I had to get out of there. I wonder what the details were, because he seemed pretty upset. He's like, I can't believe I put you through that situation. So maybe she did say he shot me, but I don't know if she said, she shot me and I was okay, I had a bulletproof vest on, or he shot me and I had the Super Skrull serum in me. Very curious on what information she gave him moving forward. And going back to what I'm kind of getting at here, did she maybe give her dad a little bit of the vial, the serum, and then, we'll figure out a way to get the complete Super Skrull situation at hand when you got to go in the machine? Because again, if you take the serum, does it give you just some of the abilities, all of the abilities? Well, not all of them. Once you get in the machine, you get all of them. So I'm very curious on if Daddy Talos got some serum in him that can maybe help him out after what happens in this episode. I don't know. I doubt it, but we'll see what comes of it in the weeks ahead. But let me know what you all thought about that plan, man. Was so stupid. I can't get over the fact. Look, Talos, I know you respect Fury. That's your boy, blah, blah, blah. But, man, Earth has made you soft, my man. Soft in the head for sure, bro, because that is just a very, very stupid plan that he came up with. But let me know what y'all thought about that. And if it is to be true that he is dead, this is the last time they've communicated, right? She's gonna probably have a sense of like, this is the last time I talked to my dad. If he is dead, she didn't get that chance to actually say goodbye. And this just speaks to, again, I wonder if there's more with her mother too, because again, we didn't even see her mother die. Talos told her that she died, but like, how did she die? When did she die? So she's lost both of her parents, assuming that Talos is dead, and also assuming that his mother is officially dead, which I'm assuming she is, because they haven't even brought her up ever since. So shows how much they miss her, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you all think about this conversation. And that plan has to be one of the most dumbest plans I've heard in a very long time from a person that was at once in control with being the leaders of the Skrulls. But let's get into the comments here and see what you guys are talking about before we get into just a chef's kiss of a scene, which we're gonna get into here in a bit. But let me see what you guys are talking about. Let me go scroll up here. Scroll, get it. Where are we at? Where are we at? What did I leave? I should probably mark these for I don't have to lose my spot. All right, let's go. Caitlin. Gravik is more focused on wiping out humanity and take over the planet for the Skrulls to find them a home, but I hope to see more of his backstory. 100%. 100%. Again, and I'm going to talk about this at the end. That's one of my biggest issues with this show so far. It's just like there's so many grandioso type of like ideas and conversations and a lot of stuff, a lot of themes we're digging into here. But I don't feel like, and then we'll get into a gripe of mine a little bit later, but I don't feel like some of this stuff has really been fleshed out and developed to the sense that not everything has to lay all of the cards in the deck, but I think that's a pretty big card as far as the motivational factor to have someone like a Thanos want to do the blip, like a Killmonger wanted to do what they, wanted to take over in Black Panther, and all the, the bigger villains of the Marvel Cinematic Universe having a purpose to their actions and believing that they are doing the right thing in their eyes. Right now, it's very stereotypical, mustache twirling, end of the world type of villain so far. So hopefully we get that backstory. I really do hope we do. All right, what y'all think about Talos' plan, man? Talos is a bit too naive to believe humans and Skrulls can live together in peace. Just like, it's crazy to me. My man has been softened by Nick Fury in the world because, my man, your whole species was a damn near wiped out by the Kree. And you've been on Earth for 30 years, Talos. You've seen what humans have done to each other. You've probably read some history books and seen what we've done in the past. Yeah, man. And Nick Fury even said it so in episode 2. We can't even get along with our own damn humanity, man. So, yeah, I don't know what Talos is sipping, man. I mean, my man has been doing some meditation, some yoga, something to think that, that plan was going to fall through. Humans, yeah, they won't. And listen, things might change after Talos does something later in this episode. But again, the world doesn't even know who Skrulls are. So it's going to be a lot to take in to be like, a Skrull saved the president, good thing. But a Skrulls in the meanwhile trying to take over humanity, bad thing. How long have they been around? It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. The plan was, it's crazy, man. It was crazy. Not sure about the serum. Highly doubt it. It used the DNA. You're right. As far as, certainly I did. Don't believe. Yeah, listen, I'm not a fan of off-screen kills. Again, we haven't spent a ton of time with that character, but I would think that that's something that you would want to have established and to kind of explain a little bit better, in my opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, before we move on, if you guys are having a good time, because I certainly am, I appreciate y'all joining me live. If you have a good time, enjoying the conversation, having a good laugh, all that good stuff, consider hitting that like button if you haven't already. Consider sharing the stream to anyone and everyone you know that's enjoying this show, like I have thus far, even with my issues that I'm going to bring up here in a second. And also, we're live, baby. We are live. Thoughts, theories, questions, Easter eggs, so on and so forth. Leave them in the chat. As you all can see so far, every 10 minutes or so, I'll check in with you all, interact with you all, have a good time. So definitely keep the comments coming so we can keep this stream going. So with that being said, it is time to talk about the tour de France of acting and scene and characters and just heartbreaking love between these people that are no longer going to be moving forward, it looks like. But let's talk about the Fury household. My man Fury's home early. The ring's in the bin, and she's like, "Oh, honey, you forgot I came out back." But we know he did that on purpose because that's the one sign like it's about to be going down. She comes in, wants some tea. They're sitting down having the conversation, and she knows Nick. Nick knows her. She can read the room, right? She's not oblivious to the situation. This is a super spy, but he's also the love of her life, and vice versa. He looks at his wife and tells her, after all the dumb stuff I done got myself into, this, that, and the third, you are easily the greatest mistake I have ever made. Referring to obviously falling in love with her. My mind told me not to do it. My heart told me not to do it. My super spidey senses told me not to involve myself in this relationship. But damn it, I did it. I fell in love with you, and it was the greatest mistake I ever made. And the mood, the looks, the mannerisms, the nuance in their performance was just so refreshing to me, because again, I think we've sometimes get trapped into the spectacle of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and sometimes I think that takes away from who these people are in these, capes and costumes and eye patches and whatnot. These are highly, highly capable, incredible, Oscar-winning, Emmy-winning, Tony-winning actors that they put in these roles. One of them being the great Sam Jackson himself, who is look up his career if you're not familiar with him. He's stage plays, so obviously movies, shows. The man has done it all from a very long career and has a lot more in the tank, as we can see. I love when actors get to act, right? And they get to act not against a green screen, nothing against visual effects or anything like that, not against a CGI creature, but to have, well, in this case, this is a scroll, but you know what I'm saying, to have that human conversation between this husband and wife over 30 years, it all coming crashing down due to a lie. And this is the king of lies, is Nick Fury. But his wife lied to him, and it was the conversation is, you're here to kill me. And I love this moment of them putting, as they say, all the cards on the table. And literally at this point, all the guns on the table. He takes out his gun. She takes out her gun. And it's just, again, he's looking at her. And I wish I could play the scene, because it's, again, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I didn't mean to hit my mic there. I love the cinematic universe. But we don't always get to see these actors get to act. We get to see them being in turmoil, trying to come up with a plan. We know Nick Fury is the man of the plan, but we don't get to see him having these more quieter, vulnerable moments as a man, right? He's the great Nick Fury, always 10 steps ahead. But having a conversation with his wife, who betrayed him, whew, I'm telling y'all, man, it was great. It was great, man. Guns on the table. They're having a conversation. He finally asks her, because I guess she's never told him this over the last 30 years they've been married. How did you choose the face you chose? She gives him the full story. It was a doctor, Priscilla, who was on her deathbed, who was on her last few days due to, I believe, a heart condition. I don't believe the doctor was married or had kids. She was a daughter, and we'll talk about the 3 promises. But she would visit her every single day, which I'm very curious on who was the face before the face, but we'll probably never find that out. But she would visit her in the hospital, grew a great relationship, a friendship with each other. And this is another great thing, too, that I love about the good scrolls versus the bad. I love the fact that Priscilla asked if it was okay to assume her identity. I love that. And not just automatically taking it. She gets her approval, but she has to do 3 promises. Promise 1, bury me at sea, which she did, which is beautiful. Continue to be a daughter to the actual Priscilla's parents, which she did. And number 3, never hurt Nick, because she tells her, I can take you on an identity and you can fall in love after you pass on from this earth. So it's Shakespearean. It's beautiful. It's poetry. As we know, this is when the whole beloved conversation comes up. They're saying the lines, which was to feel myself beloved on earth. And they pull out their guns and pow. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment there. I love that moment, man. For a second, I'm like, oh, Nick shot first. Shout out to Han Solo. Nick got the shot. I'm like, oh, he killed her. But then the camera goes directly to her first, right? And let me just pull this. I think I got a screen grab of it here. Yeah, it's like boom, bow, ba-dow. This scene, and bringing this back up that we talked about earlier, that scene of that conversation reminded me so much of Wanda and Vision having the conversation. Again, I don't want to make it seem I don't love the MCU. I do. But I'm just referring to like these relationships in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We don't get these many times where these couples get to have pillow talk, heart-to-hearts, emotional moments. We see, someone's trying to save someone, damsel in distress, this yada, yada, yada. They might kiss. They might have a comment every now and then, but we never really, I've really never felt like we've gotten like a true heart-to-heart conversation with couples in the MCU. And this was so great, man. Obviously, it's a breakup, essentially, a tragic one. But I loved it, man. And again, I haven't felt this way since this scene here with WandaVision. I believe it was episode 8. That was just fantastic. It was way better than the finale, I'll tell you that. But guns out, boom, boom. And it's revealed that they shot, but they missed. Which goes back to my Mr. and Mrs. Smith comparison there. They miss, and I love the line. They have a little laugh. Fury says, I don't know whether we should renew our vows or I don't know if we should divorce each other or renew our vows. Such a great line. Such a great delivery from Sam Jackson, and she laughs it off. And he walks out, and before he does, she says to him, would you love me in my true skin? I guess we'll never find out. Come on, man. Come on, bro. That's some fire line delivery, some great scenery, just a great. I feel like I was watching a well done play by two great actors that trust each other as actors, because this is a vulnerable moment. Again, these are actors; they've been doing it for a while, but it's not always easy to showcase true love to someone. And I felt it, man. I felt it. It was a great scene, and it was great, man. This is easily one of my favorite scenes of this series, but also just in general in the last phase or so, man. This is just, it wasn't any action. It's two people having a conversation. I love it, man. I love it. But moving on, something I do not love is this dirty down mother. Rashonda, y'all. Rashonda in the bath, getting all cleaned up. Man, I don't know. What soap does a scroll use? What do they brush their teeth? Do they she doesn't have hair, so they don't shampoo it, you can still moisturize it, whatnot. Anyway, we get this this bathroom cleaning scene, and it looks like I'm accidentally hit the wrong button. It looks like she was like singing in the shower. I wonder what she was singing. But we have the moment where we're under the assumption that Rhodes the Scroll was probably a man. I'm looking at the scene of getting the towel out. And also too, if you remember from going back to our conversation about the trailer, there was a shot in the trailer that a lot of us were assuming that was Gaia. As the scene in this very scene was in the trailer, and a lot of us were assuming, because I think the way the trailer was cut was we saw Amelia Clark in her human form, and then it cut to this. So a lot of us were assuming, oh, it's probably her shell, her actual face. But no, it is not her face. It is her face. And I'm referring to Rashonda, y'all, who has bright blue eyes and, sharp vampire teeth, and putting on her moisturizer and whatnot. And it is revealed that it is the one and the only Colonel Rhodes. He is she is him. And the question I have at home for you guys is this shell, the scroll, Rashonda, who is she? How long has she been in position of power? As I mentioned earlier, her making that call to kill Fury is a very high order demand. So how high up is she? Who is she? Does she have relations with Gravik on a more, whether it's respect level, romantic level? Who is this actual scroll is my question. Very, very curious. And again, as we talked about earlier, how long has Rashonda been Rhodes? Let me know in the comments below. So we get that moment, which was pretty damn good. And you know what? I have a little screenshot here. You know what? I think I know when Rashonda isn't Rhodes. You know who I think that she might put the skin on, who she might just be when she's not Rhodes? I got a little insight for you all. Breaking news. This is Rashonda when she's not Rhodey, y'all. She's causing havoc on airplanes, drunk as a skunk, as we'll talk about. Rashonda got a little drunk in this episode. This is her other shell when she's not Rhodey, y'all. It's the truth. It's the truth. Have y'all seen this, man? I don't know if I don't care. That mother isn't real. Oh man, donkey of the week, man. That's so funny. I got a good kick out of that. So there you have it. That's the other show. That's the other identity. But before we move on, let me see what you guys are talking about before we get into another fire scene between two great actors. Let's see. This scene was amazing. The call back to the poem, fantastic. Zia, I love this scene. They never could kill their beloved. They look so good together. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Kevin saying, watching the scene made me wanna. Yo, Kevin, I might know someone. You know what I'm saying? She takes good care of herself. You know what I'm saying? She's green and mean and lean and everything you want from an alien woman. I'm gonna hook you up with Rashonda, my friend. Let's see. Before we you got a good kick out of that? You got that mother isn't real, and I'm not gonna die on this plane. Oh man, so funny. I can't wait till someone like finds her and interviews her and have her like on 60 Minutes or something and just really find out what's going on, man. Because there are aliens on this earth, y'all. Y'all remember a couple months ago, the alien, and I mean, it's well documented, many alien sites throughout history. But that alien situation in Vegas, I went down this rabbit hole, man, and saw different angles. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. Some aliens on Earth, and she might be one of them. But before we get into this next scene, again, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys haven't already, I would really appreciate it. So let's get to this scene here, man, and wrap it up. Listen, man, like I said, I ain't never seen this fool Rhodey move like this, talk like this, act like this in his entire MCU, time on screen. Nick Fury breaks into his hotel room, which, by the way, Fury or Rhodes, fire your security. Like, why is, I mean, Nick Fury is that dude, but like, goodness gracious. He has the Pappy Van Winkle drink, and he's here to tell Rhodes, listen, man, there's a mole, there's a scroll high up in the government. And listen, man, I can give you the intel. I can give you this, that, and the third, as long as you give me my job, brother. Brother got to look out for another brother. Rhodes, again, saucy as all hell, is like, I'll do you one better. Let me counter your offer. These wild conspiracies, I can do you one better. You keep your mouth shut, and I won't leak your your killing Maria Hill tape out there on World Star. I won't let the world know what you did, and we'll be Gucci. So I guess the question I have for you guys is, in this scene, did you interpret that Rashonda is aware that Fury is aware that they are a Skrull? Or do you think that, again, Fury being the great spy that he is, he played it so well that it's like, it's not you, but there's someone else? Like, how did you all read that scene? I read it as though Rhodes isn't aware that Fury is aware that they're the one that he was referring to. But I could be wrong. Let me know how you guys interpreted that scene. I like I said, I don't think that Rhodes is aware that Fury knows. He does let him know, stop with the nonsense, old man. And also, I'm pretty shocked that he isn't shocked, or she isn't shocked, that Fury wasn't killed, because that was the mission, was to kill, the wife was supposed to kill him. So I was shocked. I'm sure that Rhodes was shocked that he was still alive at that point, which he didn't, he played it well, because it was just like, whatever, let's have this sparring match, a verbal sparring match. But yeah, we get that moment there, and again, Rashonda's on one, drinking the drink. I mean, and Fury, man, again, shout out to Sam Jackson. He plays it so well, because any other Marvel character or any other character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe might have played their hand, being like, God damn it, I know it's you, and this is how I know. But no, Fury's like, all right, bro, I'm gonna keep that in the memory bank, and I'm gonna check that check in a minute here. So he gets the footage. He drinks the drink. He kicks him out. Like, get your old ass out of here, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. And Fury, he plays along, man. But we know Fury is that dude. He went ahead and he slipped him something in the drink. And it's a liquid location tracker to follow Rhodes, which brings us into our final moments of the episode, which, by the way, again, shout out to Nick Fury. Very smart guy. But again, we've been talking about all the conversations, the heartfelt moments, the one-on-one discussions, and all that good stuff. Now is actually time to get some action going on. So now, before we get to the action, shout out to the president, man. He's like, dude, because Rhodey's trying to give him some advice talking to the Russians, because this is a very big deal. And this is, I guess, before I forget, before we wrap it up, my issue with this show is, again, the world threatening situation at hand just doesn't feel as menacing or as in the forefront as I think it should be. It's in the background, right? We see even when Nick Fury is following Rose, we got the people outside with their signs and whatnot. They don't want war. I don't feel like the world is about to explode with this tension between Russia and America. It's all been in the background. That's the show, because in the comics of Secret Invasion, it's not, there's some higher level up government people that they take their form, but it's mostly the Avengers, right? It's the heroes that they take their form. So obviously this is a TV show. They don't have the budget to do all that. So I was thinking that it was going to really be felt that they have been infiltrating all the different levels of different governments around the world. But I really haven't felt that dire world catastrophe type of moments in this show. And it's really kind of fell a little flat for me, that it's still very ground level of the threat of the Skrulls taking off. To me, I just haven't felt it quite yet. But things kind of change in this particular moment here. But let me know if you guys are the same boat with me, that you really haven't felt that true threat of the Skrulls. Because again, I guess just establishing, and I guess this is kind of another, I don't want to say loophole or whatnot, but there are 1 million Skrulls on Earth. Gravik has about 500 on his side. I don't think Talos has many allies at all from a Skrull perspective. Where are the other Skrulls in this situation? Where do they lie in with everything that's going on? Again, it's just like that's the harsh thing about a 6-episode, 37 to 58 minute long show is like all that other stuff, all that world building, which to me is important. Where are the other Skrulls? What are the other world leaders think of the tension going on right now that can possibly set off this World War III? That stuff to me has been kind of in the backdrop. That brings us into this moment. And again, the funny moment with the president saying you got some, alcohol in your breath or whatnot. They're on the road. And I've been thinking for the longest time, and I think, again, Marvel kind of showed his hand when they announced the recasting of Harrison Ford with William Hurt taking over as Ross, that they said that he will be the president. Harrison Ford will be the president in Captain America 4. So when the trailer for this came out, everyone saw the shot that we're about to break down with the missiles, the president potentially dying. I was under an assumption that that's the scene that we're going to see the president die. As we're going to break down here, we see Rhodey gives him the call. He calls in Gravik, lets him know which truck to hit, which to target, how to hit it, how to get the mission at hand. And the mission's afoot, y'all. This is where we get the most action that we've seen so far in this show from a visual standpoint, a scale standpoint. We got missiles coming out and taking out the president, man. And it was going back to just kind of, again, the grittiness of the show. And it reminds me so much of, one of the greatest MCU projects to date, which is Winter Soldier. It reminded me so much of just like the sheer like fearfulness of like what's going on. Oh, obviously we knew who it was, but just putting yourself in the position of these characters, like, damn, dude, the president just got taken out potentially. So Nick Fury, Talos, obviously following them with the tracker. They know where all the action's taking place. One little gripe I do have. Gravik, he is they're impersonating Russians, so they're just speaking Russian, and the CIA and the Secret Service like they're the Russians. Like that's all it takes to be a Russian, just speak Russian, I guess. Anyway, they are under an assumption that this is the Russians' retaliation to what happened in episode 1 at the end of episode 1 with the missile or the bomb going off. We got explosives, bullets flying around, the president's in the car. And again, I love how it looks, man, because the helicopter gets shot down. The helicopter propeller is about to hit the president's car. Like, it's a really well choreographed scene. And the action was so well put together by the direction here. Really enjoyed it. But Talos and Fury, they're in action. Fury gets his missile. Shout out to the first Avenger. That's the first time I think he shot a missile since that film. He shoots down one of the choppers, and we see Gravik is like he's. I don't know if y'all noticed, man, but Gravik was kind of like, oh damn, Fury's on the field. Oh snap! He got a little bit nervous. Young Buck, he was a little bit scared there that Papa Fury was ready to play ball. But this causes, and I will say, now correct me if I'm wrong, it's another little nitpick that I had. We've been jokingly saying that, in the last few episodes, whenever we see like a Skrull die, we don't see anyone like picking up their body, getting rid of the body. We're just assuming that these Skrulls are just laying around. And I'm assuming that there's a cleanup crew, that there's someone that's coming up and picking up the bodies, disposing of the bodies, whatever the case may be. So that was my excuse for the last few weeks. I have a question for y'all, because I am under the assumption that Gravik and his crew that he has, they're all Skrulls, right? So I'm saying all that to say, when his crew, his Skrull army, pretending to be Russians, when they're getting shot at, and more particularly when they're dying, aren't they turning into Skrulls? Aren't these a bunch of dead Skrulls that are behind us? Or is it just Gravik and his right-hand man are the only Skrulls, and they've managed to find other humans that, I don't know, want to take down America? I don't think that's the case. I think these are all Skrulls, right? And what I'm getting at is these are a bunch of dead Skrulls on the floor. And which even speaks to the next scene here. When they're having the shootout, we see that stupid-ass plan from Talos. Is like, oh, here's my chance to save the president and to pitch my great idea. He's like, okay, I got this. He's gonna break, because obviously no human could break a freaking bulletproof CIA souped up car for the president. He's banging on the glass, and Talos tells his Gravik tells his second demand and shoot to Talos, which he does. And I gotta say, man, again, I know we've been kind of making fun of Marvel and just comic book films in general with some of the visual effects. I had fun with She-Hulk, but some of those visual effects, the way that she looked sometimes, was really horrendous. When Talos gets shot and he's like transforming in and out of being, obviously the human form and also being, a Skrull, bro, that was clean, man. Like, I'm trying to find an actual shot of it here. Here it is. This is one of the shots. But man, that was some good visual effects cutting in between him being Talos, the human form, and Talos, obviously the Skrull. That was really great, man. I really love that switch between the two. Really well done. But one of the soldiers sees Talos, and this goes back to my complaint a couple minutes ago. Talos like, oh, there's a goddamn alien trying to get the president. Y'all kill him. And then shout out to Fury. He's like, hold up. First off, because this is another nitpick. I've never been in a shootout. Hopefully, I never will have to be in a shootout. But I would assume with missiles and ARs and all this stuff, it's probably pretty chaotic, very loud, I would say. My man's probably like 20, 25 feet. He's like, he's with me. Anyway, neither here nor there. Small little thing. But going back to my biggest thing is like, there's an alien on the field. Aren't there a ton of other dead aliens on this battlefield that you guys have killed? Again, let me know in the chat if I'm tripping, that all of Gravik's men that were being shot at were also Skrulls, and they should be in their Skrull form, meaning that there's a ton of Skrulls laying around dead on the floor. I could be wrong. And also, didn't he give them all the extremists? Didn't they be all souped up? Anyway, speaking of souped up, and we saw this in the trailer, but it was still pretty cool to see. He uses his Groot arm and crushes one of the soldiers, which was pretty cool. But you showed your damn hand, Gravik. Now everyone knows the Skrulls or whatever. Well, they might not know that they're Skrulls. They will now. I'll tell you that. It's probably gonna be footage of that. He exposes his Groot arm and kills that soldier. And again, I'm just like, okay, Gravik, cat's out of the bag, brother. He kills him, and then we wrap up the episode with Talos managing to get the president out, and he's hurting, man. He's dying. He gets the president out. He probably just went, but Mr. President, I'm a scroll, by the way, help my people. But he didn't get that chance because the president was knocked out. Fury has his car. He takes the president to the car, and Talos is being helped out by one of the soldiers. Lo and behold, it's Gravik. Stabs him in the heart, and Fury pop, 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 shoots him in the face. But we all know he has that extremis, and Fury's like, "What the hell is going on? Like, this is about a week, right? A tough week for Fury. Had to break off his early vacation, being in space. Found out his baby mama or baby wife, 30 years, damn near cheated on him, break his heart. Lost Maria Hill. Scrolls, there's not 19, 15 of them. There's a million of them. It's been a tough week for Fury. And now he's seeing that these species of aliens that he's thought that he knows all the ins and outs, all their powers, abilities, or pros or cons, or strengths or weaknesses. This man is shocked. What was that? And more importantly, he just lost his friend, his intel, his day one A1. He lost him, and Gravik pulls off with his buddy and whatnot, and then we end the episode, y'all. We end the episode. Which, by the way, again, talking about trailers, and hopefully we'll see this scene, but there's a shot in the trailer. I don't know if y'all can make that out. That is a shot of Emilia Clarke as Gaia, and that is Talos. Obviously, we didn't see that in this episode, so I am to assume that that's going to be the opening scene of next week, which let's throw our theories in the chat now. Talos, if he is dead, that is the second death of this series, which I think is the highest of any Marvel show so far as like important characters to the cinematic universe. Obviously, Maria Hill, assuming that she is dead, which I think she is at this point. And now Talos. Those are pretty big deaths and I think we're past the point that the Marvel cinematic shows are important to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the narrative and the story. Like, next time, if someone doesn't watch this show and they're like, "Oh, where's that? Kobe Smulders? Where is she at? Oh, she died. She's dead. What? You got to explain that. Oh, where's that friendly scroll that Fury made friends with in Captain Marvel? Where are they up to? He was pretending to be Fury, and far from where is he? He died, y'all. He died. What? So I think we're past that, but it is pretty big to kill off these characters in a show that has major ramifications, man. So I think Talos is dead, and if that is permanently the case, what do y'all think about Ben Mendelsohn? What do y'all think about Talos? What do you think about Gaia taking on that mantle and kind of being the replacement of him of sorts? So we've gotten a lot of those in Phase 4 and 5. Hulk, She-Hulk, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, T'Challa, Shuri. I mean, there's been a lot of the passing the batons of a sort. So this is yet another example of that. How do y'all feel about it? I told y'all in episode 1, I love Emilia Clarke, big Game of Thrones fan, Mother of Dragons, big fan of her. So I love that she's in the MCU, but that at the expense of losing a great actor in Ben Mendelsohn. So let me know how y'all feel about it. And do you think it is the truth? Do you think he's dead? Do you think he's gone? He's gone forever, never, ever coming back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Overall, solid episode. We talked about the scenes that I love with Priscilla, Nick Fury, Saucy, Rhodes, Rashonda. Fantastic. Great action set piece. Little qualms, little issues that I had with some of the dead scrolls back there. No one sees that. And also, again, Gravik's motivation of understanding he wants a new home, but damn, you got to kill everyone to do that. Where is that coming from? And also, I still haven't felt the gravity of the situation. I'm hoping that this now gives me a better sense of the world's understanding of what's going on. And now that the scrolls we're assuming that they're going to be outed after this episode, will Talos saving the president help his silly, dumbass plan to have the humans understand that there are good scrolls out there? They want to coexist with the humans. Will this be the move that the president will say, okay, a scroll saved my life. If there's any other scrolls out there, please stand forward. I doubt we're going to get that in this type of show with 2 episodes left, but I wonder if that's going to be the case. moving forward, or if it's just going to be everything he just did is in vain because Talos is overshadowed by Gravik trying to kill the president, take over the world. Is that going to be, under the rug and kind of forgotten? So very, very curious on what that him saving the president means moving forward for not just Talos, but the Skrulls in general. And, how is Emilia Clarke, Gaia, going to handle losing her mom and her dad? And can we finally get a scene with Gaia and Nick Fury? We know they know each other from back in the day. So it's going to be interesting to see a scene between those two, because obviously she hates Fury because of the lie, but also now her dad is she's probably going to blame him because also, I guess I forgot to mention, damn, Fury, you left your boy on the battlefield? You couldn't pick him up, throw him in a car? I know you got the president on your arm. Duty comes first, but damn, that's kind of cold, man. He left his best friend dead. Couldn't even throw him a bone. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I'm going to continue to check in with you guys, talk to you guys for a little bit before we wrap it up. But I'm going to probably edit this into like my review of this episode. So for those watching the edited version, like, share, comment, leave your thoughts in the comments of this episode, thoughts, theories, pros, cons, and everything in between. We'll catch you guys in the next one. So for my live audience, let's see what we're talking about. Let's see what we got in the comments. Let's see. And let me know, like I said, am I tripping about the Skrulls being shot and not being dead on the floor? Am I tripping on it? Did I miss something? So sassy. He is, or she is. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm not too familiar with the character. I'm going to have to look her up. Looking back, genius very cause leaving the president. Yeah, that was a very genius move. Very, very great move. Genius. Fury played it well, but we're trying to not aware. Shows Nick again. Yeah, he's back. Hopefully he's back. What's up, Zia? How we doing? Very ground level. Agreed. I do believe that episode 5 and 6 will be more action filled. Bigger scale will come in play. We'll see, Caitlin, because, again, we talked about the trailers of it all. Hopefully, they're going to make us feel good that they tricked us in a sense, that they didn't give everything away in a trailer. Because as of right now, from my memory, Caitlin, this scene that we saw was the biggest scene from an action perspective that we saw in the trailer from a, scope and scale. There is obviously that scene where we see Gaia in that room full of the pods of the people that they're taking their shells. And also there's a shot in the trailer where Gaia is like back to back with Priscilla. So there probably will be more action for sure, but I don't know if it's going to be on that level. I don't know if they blew their load in tonight's episode with that action set piece, but hopefully we get, more of a, but I will say this, Caitlin, and I know you've been watching all these breakdowns that we've been doing for all the Marvel shows. One of my biggest issues with WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. All of their finales have sucked. Love Loki. And is there another good finale? Might be missing one. Oh, I had fun with What If. That What If finale was great. But mostly as far as live action, Loki has probably been, I'm just thinking, yeah, I think Loki's the only one that finale-wise is like, I was impressed. I was happy. I was satisfied. And I mean, She-Hulk was fine, but it was messy in its execution. But what I'm getting at is most of these finales have been not great for me. And that is because, like this show, Secret Invasion, it has been very grounded and rooted. We somehow we got to get aliens and two witches fighting in the air. We get all, freaking all the craziness we've been getting, Power Bro, all that stuff has been not that great for me. So I'm hoping that they can find a way to stick the landing. I'm hoping this is a very Civil War approach to the finale of the show, where we're thinking it's going to be big and grandiose and all that stuff, but it's just going to be a room. We went into Civil War thinking that Tony and Cap and Bucky and T'Challa were going to fight against Baron Zemo and the other Winter Soldiers, but no, it was just a fight amongst three people. It was a misunderstanding and a lie. And we saw that brutal, great fight between those three. I'm hoping that it is something more personal, more grounded, and not crazy and ridiculous from what we've seen so far. But we'll see. We got 2 episodes to find out. And also, I think there's I think someone said there's going to be a we know it's Marvel. Someone's going to come in the show. It's going to be a bigger player from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whether it's Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, whether it's Tiana Paris as Photon, whether it's Kamala Khan or someone else that can pop up in episode 4 or 5 or 6. So we'll see whoever that big character may be. No way she's a Skrull in Endgame. No way he was a Skrull in Endgame. That's what we were talking about earlier. Zia was like, when did they take on the former Rhodey? So yeah, that would suck if that wasn't Rhodes. Maybe it could, man. It could very much be the case. This would be better with the core still infected, because Skrulls could be more of a threat without. Yeah, good call with the Sokovia Accords, which is no longer based on She-Hulk, no longer in existence. Guess that could be similar to the Boys. Oh yeah. Wow. Speaking of the Boys, Justin, I can't wait. I'm excited for that Generation V show with the college students in the world. That's going to set up season 4 of the Boys, which I can't wait, bro. I love me some Boys. I love the Boys, man. It's a fantastic show. Also, MCU should have Sharon show up collecting bodies, because it's something the power broker would be interested in. It's a good point. Or Valentina. Someone of that nature would probably do cleanup duty for sure. Bring back Terrence, man. Yeah, man. That would be funny. I was confused as to who was who. That's, again, am I tripping, y'all? Shouldn't have been a bunch of Skrulls on the battlefield. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I watched all his appearances and feel like something changed about Rhodey between Iron Man 1 and 2. That's when did something change? Or is it like a physical change in Iron Man 1 and 2? I don't know. You might be onto something, yeah. I think you might be onto something. Last time we saw Rhodey, he was trying to convince Sam to keep the shield and Captain America, right? Why would a Rhodey do that? Yeah, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier, as far as like when and where does this Rhodey change out? Because that was the last time we saw him was in so was that? Hold on. I'm just thinking. Help me. How the last time we saw him? Okay, no, I was thinking that for some reason I thought he was in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene, but it was Hulk, Bruce, Captain Marvel. Yeah, no, he wasn't there. But yeah, I guess the last time was Falcon Winter Soldier. So yeah, very, very interesting. Was clearly acting and talking differently. Oh yeah, we talked about it. If you get a chance to watch the replay, Roshonda was on one tonight on a whole nother level. Let's see here. Went into his own human face. Yeah, that was a pretty gnarly shot too when he got shot in the face. Oh, and also speaking of shot in the face, I don't know where the correlation is. My favorite character in the show thus far has been Olivia Colman as Sonya. We didn't get Sonya in this episode. I missed her. She's fantastic. I wonder what she's up to. She's trying to find her own little mole. Greg also loses it when he finds out Screws nearby. Yeah, he lost his cool, right? He had to go into another level. Yeah, same here, Caitlin. Same here. We'll see. 2 fake outs in one episode. I want to see more of Agent Prescott. He's dead, isn't he? He died in episode 1. Speaking of episode 1, Ross. We still don't know how long Ross has been a Skrull, right? This show always keeps so abruptly. Always not ready for it. Episode 6 seems too short. Episode 6 just seems too short. 6 episodes. Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah. That was one of my biggest fears about this show, was too little episodes. Man, stop it. Talos will be back. They will figure out a way to bring him back. Kevin, man, I hate to burst your bubble, bro. We got to have stakes. We got to be serious. We got to keep people dead. I think he's dead. But I could be wrong. My friend. Trying to be Optimus Prime. Let's see here. I was hoping they saved Talos. Yeah, man. Nick Fury was like, bro, I'll catch you on the flip side. Let's see. Hard to beat the action in this episode. Yeah. Let's see. I like WandaVision finale, though. I know, Caitlin. And listen, it had its moments, right? When Wanda had to say goodbye to the kids, had to say goodbye to Vision. That's it. I did not like anything else in that finale. Of course, I love Wanda using her powers going against Agatha. But it was just like And then Vision, fighting Vision. I'm like, come on, man. This whole show has been so well-rounded, so grounded. And obviously we're dealing with witches and witchcraft and all that stuff. And, we're making the hex. But it was just still so grounded and just felt so out of place to me. But it's still my second favorite series on Disney Plus. But just the finale just didn't work for me. But Loki, though. Can't wait for season 2 of Loki. We are all caught up with the theories and expectations. She-Hulk finale was weird. She spoke to the manager and got her. Yeah, regardless of, and of course we talked about it on the channel here. I'm really excited to get more of Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walter. And I'm very curious on when we're going to see her again. I think a lot of the rumors out there, she might be in Captain America 4 with every one of the Hulks ever to be a Hulk is going to be in that film. So I hope we get to see her sooner rather than later. Tiana Paris should have her own show/movie or yeah, I agree. She's great. I am complete random. Not that random. They cloned Tyrone. I got my screener a couple days ago. I'm going to watch it here shortly. That's obviously the new Netflix film with starring Tiana Paris, also starring John Boyega and the great Jamie Foxx. So completely kind of random, but kind of tied into it. Big fan of Tiana Paris. Very excited to see her in Captain Marvel 2 later this year, and also see her and then clone Tyrone because she is fantastic. I wonder if there would be a conclusion to this show or a problem. No, I think we're gonna have. We talked about that last week, Caitlin, as far as like, okay, how do you end this show? Like, what is the goal, right? Do we leave it? Oh, is it a can of worms out there that we end that the world's gonna know what scrolls are taking over the world? I don't think so. But what would be a resolution to the show? I would hate this because he's such a fantastic actor, but you got to take out the head of the snake, which is Gravik. Fury versus Gravik, and he kills him or takes him out. Takes, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, Gaia now has the information when she took the memories of the Dr. Dalton to learn how to inject herself with the serum and to use the machine to become a Super Skrull. I would imagine she also has the memories and the knowledge of how to destroy the machine, how to use the machine, the weaknesses and all that stuff. So maybe she's able to take down Gravik without killing him or injuring him, taking away his abilities of being a Super Skrull. And we move on from that, and that slows up this momentum of taking over the world and all that. But I think the can of worms are going to be really open to, going back into Captain America. I was assuming that the president was going to die in this episode, but the president's still alive. So I'm not saying that the president can't die anymore, but how does Harrison Ford's General Ross, how do they become the president? If it's not at the end of this show, that's going to be really interesting to see. So I'm very interested in the more political idea of the Skrulls now being out there. What does that mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That's what I'm very curious about. So going back to solving the issue, you kill Gravik, but there's still that whole can of worms is open. So we'll see. I agree about the finale. I don't know if the 6 episode format is going to work. Leo lied on the table. Yeah. 6 episodes, man. Ralph Boner took out. Yeah, Ralph Boner. Gosh. I could see Ross. Oh, you could see Ross in Harrison Ford. Ooh, that would be dope. I mean, yeah, if you guys haven't been following his career lately, he's been on TV a lot. I haven't seen 1923, the Yellowstone spinoff show, but I have seen Shrinking, and that man gives the best performance of his career. Not that his career is obviously well documented. He's one of the greatest actors, but if you haven't seen Shrinking and you want to see Harrison Ford give you some great performances, check out that show. So what I'm getting at is not beneath him to be on TV, is what I'm getting at there. So that would be interesting if we get him being like the president or being elected to be president in this show, which I don't think they're going to do that. I think they save that for the movie. I think they save that for Captain America. What's the new title? Brave New World. Yeah. Yeah, Sonya, I love her, man. Where was she at? What was she doing? So glad you are reviewing this. Sam Jackson killing. Oh, thank you, Stress, and thank you for tuning in. I'm glad I'm reviewing it too, my friend. The finale was mid with the others Elliot listed. Only person out of the guys who used those finales regardless is yeah, man. I love me some low-key stuff to land for me. I agree. And deserves a better. Yeah. Tiana deserves a show. Like the Agatha. Yeah. I mean, I guess looking at it from she's going to be on the big screen, right? And nothing against Catherine Hahn. She's great. but she didn't get promoted to the big leagues yet, right? And Tiana went from TV to the big leagues on the big screen. So, but I'm assuming that we're going to get a lot of Tiana Paris, because I've heard some things. I'll just say that about some things that's going to transpire in Captain Marvel or the Marvels that's going to set her. I'll stop right there. But we're going to get more of her. Trust me. Tatiana, yeah, no, not at all. She was great. She was a standout. Also, I think I avenges her father because, yeah, that's gonna be a dope fight, right? Because they're both gonna be souped up on that crack, that super serum crack. But yeah, any throw in final comments, thoughts, theories, concerns before we wrap this thing up? This has been fun, man. I love going live with y'all, whether it's this show, HBO shows, whatever we do here. I love talking to y'all. So any final comments, concerns, thoughts, theories, let me know before we wrap it up. Things to look forward to in the coming days. Dun, 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 dun. Any Mission Impossible fans out there? Because listen, man, your boy may or may not have recorded a hour and 20-minute long conversation with a special guest, possibly, the other day, potentially, and has already recorded it, edited it, uploaded it, just figuring out when I'm going to drop it. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 spoiler discussion. Keep an eye out for that. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. And a lot more other Mission Impossible conversations for the weekend for some other special guests doing some rankings, doing some tier list of the Mission Impossible movies. I'm just saying, might be a possibility. So hopefully you guys are subscribed and hit the notification bell, because we got some fun stuff for some Mission fans out there, me being one of them. Let's see. Secret Invasion could get a second season. Possibly. But wouldn't Gravik have taken the information from the doctor as well? As far as like how to possibly. I mean, possibly. There seems to be a rift between those two too, because remember the conversation, it was like Gravik doesn't know all this. So there's a little rift between them as well. Let's see here. I think this show has the Andor problem, where it is not as flashy or spectacle like the other SW shows, movies. I guess you're referring to like the cinematic Marvel stuff. Not even having any Force-sensitive characters. Andor is well thought out. I have to finish Andor, but what I saw, I really enjoyed it, really loved it, and I will finish it. And yeah, I think there's that conversation at hand. As far as like the shoot 'em up, bang bang, explosions, action, crazy. But I'm enjoying it, man. And you're enjoying it, and a lot of us are enjoying it. So that's really all that matters. But it does suck that it doesn't have that same type of excitement and buzz around it like some of the other stuff. So, but hey, this is what I love about what Marvel has been doing lately. Even though it's not all of it has been executed well to me, I like that they're expanding on the world, doing new genres, doing more serious stuff. So I appreciate that. What's up, Kevin? Disney Plus did well at Emmy nominations this morning. Andor, Obi-Wan, Abbott Elementary, The Bear. Oh, boy, I love The Bear. Shout out to The Bear. Prey, Hocus Pocus 2. Those last two, aren't those movies? And didn't they come out like 2 years ago? But anyway, yeah, the other stuff you mentioned, that's awesome. That is dope. Show similar to Secret Invasion, and unfortunately, those types of stories don't appeal to a large amount of people, like your casual superhero story, fantasy / sci-fi fiction. Yeah. That is very true. Very true. Travis, hope you're doing well. Crazy prediction. Since the attack on Russia is so prevalent on top of the disappearance of Agent Ross, I wonder if they will. That's a huge theory, Travis. But you might not be too far off, my friend. At least one of them, right? Valentina, she's been popping up, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I did not like that appearance, but I can see her, because she is part of the Thunderbolt. She's a leader. I can see her get into the mix. You might see some man Walker, the agent. What is his name? You know what I'm talking about. Wyatt Russell's character, but I can see maybe them get into the mix. I don't see like a Florence Pugh or a Sebastian Stan, but I can see a Valentina or a the fake Captain America. the Walker. What is his name, guys? I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, I can see either of those popping up. And it kind of said, and I said, someone else mentioned earlier about President, U.S. agent. Someone mentioned earlier that maybe President Ross or soon to be President Ross can maybe pop up as well, which would be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we'll see. We got 2 weeks to find out. All right. My first memory of Mission Impossible was Vin Rain stepping in the goat poop. Oh yeah, in the OG. Yeah, man. Shout out to Mission Impossible. Love Mission Impossible. Wait, if y'all love Mission Impossible, like I said, man, spoiler review coming soon. Live stream, tier list ranking with some special guests coming soon. So yeah, man, we got a lot of mission talk in the coming days. Mission Impossible box office total run 550, 650. Interesting. Zia, I'm ready for. I wish I could have screamed both on the same day. Yeah, I'm gonna be seeing tough decisions coming for me in a couple of days. I think I've made my decision, but they for critics, they showed it to the press the other day. The world premiere was the other day for both films. Both of them very great positive feedback from them. But for my local early screening is on the 18th, next Tuesday. And on the same damn day, Oppenheimer and Barbie, I got to make a choice. And I think I've made my mind up, but I might change. But I'm going to see both of them regardless next week. And but I don't know which screening I'm going to go to on Tuesday. But I guess you guys will find out. Thanks, Eve, for hosting live streams. Very proud to see you going. Oh, thank you, Caitlin. Thank you for staying up so late. You get some rest and have a great day, since it is the new day for you. But I appreciate you. Will you cover all the JLDC obscure characters possibly showing up? That's a great question. I've been, not to get too far off track and wrapping things up here soon. Yes. I'll just say yes. I've always been thinking of a plan to have, like, obviously I do a lot of reviews and we have live discussions after shows. But as far as, like, what are my thoughts on the most recent casting of Hawk Girl, and all the stuff with Nathan Fillion and my man Anthony NoHo Hank being casted today and all this stuff. Yeah, I think something in the works. I'll just say that because me, DC's my jammy jam. So yeah, I'm giving Annette's family being in Russia and the fiance being ex-wife. Logical first mission for Thunderbolts, stopping the scrolls. Yeah, good point, Travis. I enjoy discussing. I'm enjoying that. I appreciate you, Justin. Zia, Gaia not being able to save her father and getting revenge on Gravik will be an actually cool plot to see. Man, the regret Gaia must feel for seeing. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Kevin says Secret Invasion will get Emmy nominations next year for Best Limited Series. That would be cool. We'll see. John Walker. Yeah, I mean, hell, he could be a Skrull. Never know. You never know. Don't think we'll see the Thunderbolts here. Won't take away. I think it might not be, like I said, all of them, but I could see one of them. Most likely, my money is on Valentina for sure. If we weren't with some, this whole plot. I mean, yeah, that's the whole. One of the main plots with Secret Invasion was Norman Osborn becoming the president and creating the Dark Avengers and all that stuff. So yeah, we obviously won't get that, but I think they're going to find their way. I think they're going to use General Ross as the Norman Osborn, of a sense of getting the people on his side, becoming the president, creating the Thunderbolts, a la Dark Avengers. So I think they're going to use that as kind of like their comic book replacement of a sorts. I think in the Mission Impossible gonna Justin, don't say that, bro. This movie's fantastic. We'll see. Tom Cruise is the king of the summer from last year. We'll see. We want to see. You're gonna do a rundown about who should at the Emmys. I don't know. I might not. That would be cool though, because you gotta know I love TV. Some great TV shows out there, but probably not. But never know. But on that note, listen, man, y'all are dope. Y'all are awesome. You're the best. This was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for joining me tonight for our discussion for Secret Invasion Episode 4, Beloved. As we talked about, a lot of highs, some lows, some nitpicks, but overall, I'm really enjoying the show. I really hope they stick the landing. Can't wait to see what happens next week. We will be back next week going live right around the same time and seeing what we got. But in the meantime, Mission Impossible spoiler review, Mission Impossible ranking coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. And and many other things in the works. And before we wrap up, got a couple more comments here. I may be in a minority on this, but I would love Secret Invasion, but it's not hitting. What do you think about the trope of deconstructing characters for the sake of the arc? Man, I'm wrapping up. This man coming with the great questions. The trope of deconstructing characters for the sake of the arc. Yeah. So the way I look at it, Coyote, is the Nick Fury of it all. If we're being honest, we really haven't explored Nick the man, Nicholas Fury, the person, the man. We know the spy, the leader, creating the Avengers or whatnot, but we really don't know the man, right? And I love that we get to see that side of Nick. He's not perfect. He's not always has all the answers, right? So I don't, and I don't think the show has deconstructed the idea of Nick Fury, but instead they've given us more of the layers and the complexity, and that he is just more than just what we've come to know him from these last 13 plus years. So, yeah, it is a trope for sure, but I don't think the show has really done it to the detriment of the character. But to me, it's added more interest for the character. But anyway, great question. Thank you. And great. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. Z, appreciate you. Kaylin, get some rest. All you all have a good night. Have a great rest. And I will catch you guys pretty soon talking Mission Impossible. See you soon, guys. Peace out.